Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Long Boys Post 1975, and welcome to the random vlog. First world problems, ticking clocks. Oh wait, don't care. And I think my camera's on the piss. But what do I want to talk about this week? This has been something that's been on my mind for a while now, because in my circle of friends, granted it's not massive, I just have the perfect amount of friends, because ultimately people let you down. So don't have a massive circle of friends. But the point is, they all share basically the same hardware. They're all either Xbox or PlayStation guys. No Nintendo stuff going on here. And same interest in games, which whether it's like first-person shooters, brain fart, FIFA. They're mad for FIFA and Street Fighter, and they like playing competitively against each other. But they never actually physically played competitively against each other in the same room. I guess what I want to ask is, do people couch co-op anymore? Couch multiplayer anymore? Is it something else that the internet has destroyed? Obviously, my generation, Generation X, grew up through the birth of the gaming industry, so we had to. And I say we had to like it was a hardship. It was absolutely fantastic. Some of my fondest gaming memories, some of my fondest memories in general, with friends, is playing games together, whether it's competitively against each other, like old school football games, International Superstar Soccer and shit like that. Street Fighter 2, whether it was on my Super Famicom, that was a fantastic summer. I have a gameplay. I have a nostalgic memories of video about that. The best gaming summer of my life, 1992, when I had an import copy of Street Fighter 2, 60 hertz, and way before the crap 50 hertz one came out in this country. And just 5 of us, sat along my bed, my mattress on the floor in a box room, playing Winner Stays On. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the internet has its place, and it is nice to play online and stuff like that, although personally, I tend not to, because I don't like entering a lobby full of angry fucking 12-year-olds saying shit about your mother. I've kind of grown past that in my old age. But obviously, back in the day, in the birth of the internet and stuff like that, I spent a huge amount of time online playing the Fragtang maps in Quake and stuff like that. So I think basically I grew out of online gaming on my 360. I mean, I sank so much of my life into Battlefield Bad Company Vietnam expansion pack on that. I loved it. But after that, kind of, not so much. But it has its place. But has it killed this? I mean, like I said, co-op gaming. Because I've got an example which is really of my mates, which is like absolutely shocking. Like really, really shocking. Like the fact that I told you that they play each other all the time, particularly at FIFA and particularly at Street Fighter, and like seriously competitively and stuff like that. But never, in the same room. But I'll get to the example in a minute. But yeah, so obviously my generation, I played basically ZX Spectrum, Master System, Mega Drive, Super Famicom, PlayStation 2, all these systems I played, with my mates, and it was utterly fantastic. I'll give you a few examples, and I'm going to give you one example at the end of this video, which is my favourite memory ever of an event that we created, that we did week in and week out on the PlayStation 2. That it's just, I have such fond, memories of, and nostalgic memories of, and it was utterly fantastic. I've talked about it before, spoilers, in my nostalgic memories of Gran Turismo video. But anyway, so yeah, I am of the generation where you had to play, couch co-op and couch multiplayer and stuff like that, and versus and deathmatch, and you loved it, and and our hardware was far, inferior is the word I'm looking for than what we got now, but it didn't matter. You know, GoldenEye, 4 split screen GoldenEye, utterly amazing. I remember being around my mate Sam's house during PlayStation 1 when we all co-op together because you know it was just fun like that, you know, and it took some of the slog out of it. But we completed Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. I blinded Resident Evil 3. I've talked about this before. I still have a memory card for the save where I did mercs with the bloke who only had 5 bullets and a knife. Yeah. And that time when we were just multi-playing driver, and I hit, when you just try and avoid the old bill for as long as you can, and I hit a park bench and just went flying up in the air and went like through the air for like 30 seconds before landing, handbraking around a corner and carry on avoiding the old bill for like 3 minutes. Just like moments like that, you know. And then obviously the Gran Turismo games and stuff like that. These are just amazingly fond memories I have, and that, you know, when I first got my PlayStation, we caned the shit out of Ballerina Toasted. Yes, it's a shite fighter, but it's all we had then, and it was, you know, Japanese PlayStation before it came out, and it was literally winner stays on with me, my mate, who was my flatmate at the time, Andy, and my brothers, and whoever we could rope into, you know, people around the neighborhood into playing it. Yeah, loved it. Ridge Racer, just, you know, just passing the pad for Ridge Racer, and then getting 2 TVs set up, 2 PlayStations, you know, and playing, you know, head-to-head Ridge Racer and stuff like that. Just amazing memories. You cannot get. I mean, obviously there's an endorphin release or something like that when you blow someone away in a first-person shooter, or you know, you perfect combo someone in Street Fighter and stuff like that. I get it, but you cannot replicate that fucking feeling of, you know, when you best someone or you beat something in a game that was rock hard and you've been chipping away at it for hours. That, you know, euphoria, you know, that adrenaline rush. When you've got friends around you egging you on and stuff like that, it's just literally one of the best things about gaming in general, you know. And it seems to me that while obviously online this, online that, there is still this competitive and multiplayer thing going on, and people very much enjoy it. And I'm sure literally 2 of them across the globe, there are respectful fucking lobbies and shit like that before you get into a game of Call of Duty and shit like that. But I don't know. I think the fact that I genuinely, that's why I'm asking this, generally don't know that many people who generally don't know anyone, I should say, who actually picks up a pad, picks up a game, or their mate's got it and goes around their mates like we all did back in the day. As I said, for us it was a thing of necessity, and now obviously the internet's been with us in these speed levels, you know, where you can do this sort of shit properly. I mean, I remember 56 K V90s and stuff like that, where you had like a little algorithm software patch that would kind of smooth out the frame rate and shit like that, so it was, you know, it wasn't laggy and shit like that. But unfortunately it meant that by the time you aimed and shot at someone, because your software was running to make it look smooth and shit like that, they may not actually necessarily be there anymore. But yeah, we've had, like, you know, broadband for what, 25 years now, 22, 23 years. I had to do the maths in my head of what year we're in, 23. And that allows you to do this stuff. And I think, you know, it's be careful what you wish for. You always want an amazingly fast, bulletproof internet. I mean, I remember when I thought ISDN was the tits, but, and yeah, be careful what you wish for, because I definitely think you may be playing with other people online, but it's definitely removed and killed the social aspect of gaming to me. So these 2 people, right, on foot, live within 15 minutes of each other, right? And they both fucking love FIFA, pretty good at it. Both love Street Fighter, pretty good at it. Obviously not as good as me. Yeah, they've never played it in each other's presence, like at either of their houses. This blows my fucking mind. I mean, I was saying this to them, I cannot get past this moment. And they're like, oh yeah, shut up, old man, because you're well old and shit like that. Look at, you know, all the stuff that you had to put up with. I said, yes, look at all the stuff that I had to put up with someone sat next to me, making it an amazing social experience and just fucking fun and brilliant. How can you not, on your favourite games that you hone your skills at, not go and play them around each other's house? Now, maybe this is a thing that separates my generation from the current generations and stuff like that of gamers, which is, it isn't a thing. I mean, what was it? When the Dreamcast came out, 4 control ports on the front, wasn't it? And the GameCube came out, 4 control ports on the front. They were pushing this social aspect. Everything else before then, you know, you had to get a multi-tap and shit like that, but they were pushing this. And now to me, it's like, you know, look at this online, you can do fucking 48 people versus 48 people, blah, 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 blah. They're pushing this and they're pushing this and pushing this. But I'm trying to think. I mean, GoldenEye, obviously recently, when it came out recently, February now, my God, has it been that long already? That's a perfect example of couch co-op, and it almost feels wrong to play that online, if that makes sense. Maybe again, just because maybe it's only our generation who bought that game. To be fair, because we reminisce about it so much, and I don't care what anyone says. Once you got dual sticks, when people say it's not aged greatly, it's aged fucking amazingly once you get dual sticks. It was that shit Trident control pad that let playing that game down, but yeah, I don't think they clearly don't push the social aspect, do they? Like it used to, and I know because hardware limitations meant that's what you did back then, but also it's coming out the arcades. But the arcades was this experience, wasn't it, where it was all about one-on-one and stuff like that, with fighting games and shit like that, or taking it in turns. Everything had a two-player mode, whether it was not a verse mode, but just take it in turns and shit like that. And so obviously that translated home to all the micros, all the consoles and stuff like that. So it was a big thing. I just think this whole everything is online, play multiplayer online, is just fucking sterile. And the fact that I've got friends that are really good at games, but they've never fucking, I mean, they said, oh, but we got a microphone and shit like this, and we can still trash talk each other. Not the same. Being in the same room as someone when they're being a cheeky fuck and so you give them a dead arm or a dead leg. We used to do that all the time. Give someone a massive dead leg in the middle of a game at a really important moment so they wouldn't beat your score and shit. Oh, those are amazing memories. But the memory I have the most fondness for was, and I've mentioned this before in that Gran Turismo video, is Gran Turismo Tuesday. Why was it a Tuesday night? And it was a school night, so we all had jobs, we all worked. We would get there at 6 o'clock and we'd play to about 11 o'clock at night, and then obviously because we all had to get up at like fucking 7:30 and shit the next day, you couldn't take the piss too much. But we all bought munchies, substances, if you know what I mean, and booze and shit like that, and we made it an evening, and it was always Tuesday because that was just the weird day of the week where everyone's free night aligned. It was Tuesday or Friday, but no one wanted to do Friday because Friday night was pub night and shit like that. Or I'd go and set a video up, record Buffy, Angel, and then go to the pub, come back and watch them. That was my Friday night routine. Didn't want to interrupt it. So it was all Tuesday night. And it started on PlayStation 1. And it was me, my mate Sam, his flatmate Sam, and a bloke round the corner from Stephen. We were all huge fucking Gran Turismo fans. Mainly because I had a Japanese modded PlayStation 1 and a copy of the Gran Turismo Japanese version before it came out in the UK. And we cut our teeth on that. And then, and we didn't have Gran Turismo Night at that point. Then Gran Turismo 2 came out, and I played it, and I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking phenomenal. And I literally took it over my mate Sam's one Tuesday night when the other two people were there, just by fate, the stars aligned and shit like that. And I said, you gotta check out this game. And we loved it, and we were just passing the pad around, and we were grinding, so we could just buy stupid fucking cars. And each one of us had a different car in our communal garage, and it was our favourite cars. Like Steve had an Audi TT because they were new at the time, and he kept going on about how they were recalled because they felt skittish, and it felt skittish in the game because it was so fucking realistic. Sam went the route of the original Gran Turismo, which is like a GTO, which was a Mitsubishi GTO in the first game, or the Mitsubishi GT in that one. I can't remember. I had an Evo just because of fucking the Evos was huge at that point. Sam had an Impreza, and we noticed that this was just so much fun and such a great social aspect. So it just started with, who wants to do this next week? And it literally was, right, don't do anything. If you want to race, you can only race your car, Dave. It's like my game mind and my fucking PlayStation. You can only race your car. Don't touch any of our other cars and shit like that, for tuning up and stuff like that. So I did. I could buy cars, but I wasn't allowed to do anything with anyone else's car. And then we just did it week in and week out. And it became Gran Turismo Tuesday. And literally, when Sam had a job at my same place of work, which was the company that where I got seconded to Canada. He was in a different department, but yeah, you'd see each other at lunch, and on a Tuesday it would literally be like lunch was over in the canteen, and we'd go off and just literally look at each other, and everyone else would think we were mental and just go, Gran Turismo Tuesday? And he'd be like, yeah, all right, see you at 6. And I fucking loved it. I loved those nights. That went on right until pretty much beat Gran Turismo 2, and then it just kept going and going and going. So we've done this for a few years, mind, and no other games. We would play other games from time to time, like on a Saturday where I went round so we could go comic book shopping in the morning and stuff like that. But Tuesday night was always Gran Turismo night, and then I got a PlayStation 2. None of my mates got one. I got one on pre-order. I don't even know how that happened. You couldn't order them for love or money at this point. And I went to the Big W, which was Peacocks combined with Woolworths, and they literally just had, I've told this story in my nostalgic memories of the PlayStation 2, tickets on a wall. like on a board, and it said pre-order PlayStation, envelopes, ticket, fill in your name, da 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 da, bang in a tenner. That's all you had to bang in a tenner, stick it in this box. I got one on pre-order. All my mates were well fucking pissed off. So anyway, got my PlayStation 2, and then Gran Turismo 3 came out. Didn't care that it was cut down with cars and shit like that, because I still think it looks amazing. And obviously playing my PlayStation through RGB like a normal person back then. And yeah, I fired it up just to have a quick look, but didn't do anything with it. And then Gran Turismo Tuesday became Gran Turismo Tuesday PlayStation 2. Took my PlayStation 2 out. A little bit nervous walking in with that late at night. No one knew it was a PlayStation. I didn't have it in a fucking bag that said PlayStation 2 on it, you know, to advertise it. But, you know, no one else had a PlayStation 2. And it was about a quarter of a mile, which doesn't sound far, but late at night, especially if it's pissing down, walking from my, you know, the house I shared with Andy around to Sam's and back. Bit iffy. But yeah, it became PlayStation 2, Gran Turismo 3 Tuesdays, and just that was experiencing that for the first time with these people and these new amazing fucking visuals. Like, just yeah, the garage was a little bit cut down, but something else, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says. The best soundtrack for Gran Turismo 2 is the PAL version, because it's Feeder. Feeder to me will always be Gran Turismo 2 and Just a Day and Buck Rogers, but yeah, and we sank so much of our fucking time into that. We unlocked the Formula 1 cars, we unlocked the big, and they were grinders, and that was massive fun. The big fucking lap ones, remember that? The multi huge laps where you had to pass the control pad around, because it was fucking exhausting. And at some point when it was getting on towards like 10:30 at night, one of us may have had too many beers, and you could literally see your skills, or your mate's skills, slowly decreasing and stuff like that. But Gran Turismo Tuesday is hands down one of my fondest memories of gaming with my friends on any system ever, and it was such a unique experience. It was fun, you know, it was competitive, because like if you could beat a race when your mate couldn't, and also doing the driving licenses was fun, but if you could beat a race when your mate couldn't, you could lord it over him, but it was all in good fun. But then ultimately there'd be a point when they could do something you couldn't do, and it was just that, like, that rivalry and then camaraderie and stuff like that. Fucking brilliant. And the fact that there are people out there, because yeah, I've got Forza Motorsport, the new one. It's not as good as the last one. There are people out there who don't do this and still think they're getting that multiplayer experience by doing it online with a fucking headset. Completely blows my mind. So basically, what I want to know is, do you still, you know, couch multiplayer, couch versus, couch deathmatch? I mean, and also I am aware, because last night was my last night at my current job, so I'm going to be a day walker soon, because I couldn't, you know, couch multiplayer as a night worker, because everyone else works days and I'm sleeping during the day, and also I'm working at night, and also my days off were in the, you know, the middle of the week when everyone else had weekends off, which I'm going back to now. So yeah, as I was saying to the point I'm saying this, my mates were like, well, you can shut up, you don't do it. It's like, yeah, social situation means I can't, but I don't have to, because I grew up doing this for fucking decades. So yeah, do you still do it? Or do you just online multiplayer? Do you think you're really not missing something if you don't do it? You know, we did it years ago because we had to, but now things have moved on. Or you like me, which is, it's a really important thing, and people should experience it, because otherwise they're really not getting the full experience of multiplayer or versus. Anyway, got away from you this one, but as always, I'd love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.